Kai stood on the bridge of the massive starship, his human heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The galaxy stretched before him, full of swirling stars, shining planets, and endless darkness. He had been sent on a mission that no human had ever done before. He was to guard Princess Lyra, the last heir of the Aelari, a race known for their beauty, intelligence, and deadly abilities. The Aelari were not like humans. They were taller, stronger, faster, and their minds were sharper. Kai knew that even one mistake could cost him his life, or worse, hers. He glanced at the monitors in front of him. One screen showed Lyra's quarters, a glowing room of crystal walls and floating lights. The other screen scanned the ship and nearby space for any danger. Every second felt heavy. Every sound made him tense. He had been warned about the princess. She was clever, curious, and mischievous. She would test anyone assigned to guard her, but Kai did not expect to feel this way about her. When he had first seen her standing at the top of the stairs, her golden hair falling over her shoulders, her eyes shining like twin suns, he had felt something he did not understand. It was not fear. It was not duty. It was something warmer, something that made his chest tight. He told himself to ignore it. He was a human and she was an alien princess. Emotions were dangerous. Feelings were dangerous. But every time she looked at him, Kai felt his resolve weaken. A soft chime echoed through the bridge. Lyra's voice came through the comm. "Kai, are you watching the stars tonight?" Kai's heart skipped a beat. He had barely learned her language, but her voice was soft, melodic, and somehow full of trust. "Yes, princess. I am," he replied, trying to keep his tone professional. "Are you safe in your quarters?" There was a pause. Then a small giggle. "Safe is boring. I want to see the stars." "You can come with me." Kai's jaw tightened. His training screamed at him to say no. "Princess, I cannot leave my post," he said firmly. But inside, a part of him wanted to follow her. He wanted to see the stars too, but more than that, he wanted to be near her. He swallowed hard and turned back to the monitor. Lyra's eyes were still watching him, curious, daring, and full of unspoken challenge. He had faced many dangerous missions before, but none like this. Protecting her was not just about strength or skill. It was about understanding her, predicting her, keeping up with her ever-moving mind. The days that followed were difficult. Kai walked the halls of the ship endlessly, his eyes scanning every corridor, every deck, every shadow. Lyra seemed to appear wherever he was not. Sometimes she left little notes, small gifts she had found floating in the ship's observation deck, a glowing stone from the asteroid belt, a flower that somehow survived in a sealed container. Each gift made his heart ache and smile at the same time. Kai realized something frightening. He was beginning to care for her. Deeply. Not as a duty, not as a mission, but as someone who could not imagine the galaxy without her in it. He had to remind himself constantly he was a human. She was the last princess of an alien empire. He could not let himself hope for anything more. And yet, every time she smiled at him, his walls crumbled. Every time she looked at him with curiosity, his heart raced. He knew the Admiral's words, the rules, the warnings. But in that moment, Kai understood something important. Protecting Lyra was not just a mission. It was a privilege, a responsibility, and maybe even the most important thing he would ever do in his life. As night fell across the galaxy, Kai stood at the bridge looking at the stars with Lyra's favorite view in mind. Somewhere, out there, she was likely gazing at the same stars, laughing quietly, daring him to follow her rules, daring him to fail or to fall. Kai clenched his fists, letting the fear and excitement mix inside him. This mission would not be easy. Lyra would challenge him every step of the way, and somehow he realized he would follow her anywhere, even into danger, even across the universe, just to keep her safe. And maybe, just maybe, that was where his heart truly belonged. It was the third day of Kai's assignment when the first real test came. He had been on edge all morning, pacing the corridors of the ship, scanning every monitor and listening for any unusual sound. Princess Lyra had been quiet that day, too quiet. Kai knew that quiet was dangerous. She always planned her mischief carefully, and when she went quiet, it meant something was brewing. A sudden alarm shattered the silence. "Intruder alert!" Unauthorized movement detected in Princess Lyra's quarters. Kai's heart jumped into his throat. He sprinted down the corridors, boots pounding against the metal floors, every nerve screaming. He rounded the corner just as Lyra was stepping out of her quarters, her golden hair glowing in the dim light. She wore her usual mischievous smile like she had been expecting him. "Princess, what are you doing?" You know the rules, Kai said, catching up to her and taking her hand gently but firmly. Lyra's eyes sparkled with laughter. I wanted to see the stars, Kai. The stars are beautiful tonight. Don't you want to see them too? Kai took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing heart. I do, but this is dangerous. You could get hurt. I know, she interrupted, her voice both stubborn and gentle. That's why I wanted you near me. I wanted to see them with you, Kai froze. Did she just want him near her? He had trained for emergencies, for enemy attacks, for fire and chaos, but nothing had prepared him for this. His chest tightened, and for a moment he forgot everything else. The ship, the mission, even the warning from the Admiral. All that mattered was Lyra, smiling at him as if the universe had narrowed down to just the two of them. He swallowed hard and nodded. All right, but stay close to me. Lyra's grin widened. Of course, human. They walked together to the observation deck where the walls of glass revealed the vast galaxy in all its glory. Stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, and the nearby nebula painted the darkness with violet and blue clouds. Lyra's eyes shone with wonder, and for a moment Kai forgot his fear, his duty, and his training. He simply watched her, amazed that someone so small and fragile-looking could have such courage and curiosity. You see that star over there? Lyra pointed to a bright yellow light. I heard it's older than your planet. Do you think it remembers everything that happened? Kai smiled softly. Maybe. Or maybe it's just waiting to shine for those who come to see it. Lyra tilted her head, studying him with an intensity that made his heart skip. Then I'm glad you're here to see it with me. He felt a warmth spread through his chest, an emotion he had tried to ignore but could no longer deny. Protecting her was one thing. Feeling this way for her, caring for her beyond duty, was another. He knew he was falling for her, and a part of him feared it. A part of him wondered if this was allowed. Humans and Illyri were not meant to mix, and yet, here they were, standing together, sharing a moment that felt impossible and perfect all at once. Suddenly the alarm rang again. Unauthorized presence detected near the outer deck. Kai's instincts kicked in. Lyra, stay here. I'll check, but Lyra shook her head. No, I'm coming with you. I'm not afraid if you're with me. Her trust made Kai's chest tighten even more. He nodded, grabbing her hand and leading her cautiously toward the outer deck. Enemy ships were far away, but in this galaxy, danger could appear at any second. Yet with Lyra by his side, fear felt smaller, almost manageable. As they reached the deck, Lyra looked out at the stars, leaning against him slightly. Thank you, Kai, she whispered. He didn't answer immediately. He simply held her a little closer, feeling her warmth, feeling her trust, and realizing that this mission was no longer about duty. It was about something much bigger, something he would fight for no matter the cost. And in that moment, as the stars blinked silently above them, Kai knew that his life had already changed forever. Days passed, and the ship moved silently through the endless black of space. Each day, Kai found himself more aware of Princess Lyra than of anything else. Her laughter echoed in the corridors long after she had gone, and her small gifts, tiny glowing stones, delicate flowers from sealed containers, were reminders of her presence, even when she was not around. Kai had tried to focus on his mission, to keep his emotions at bay, but it was impossible. Every moment with her tugged at something deep inside him, something he had never felt before. Lyra, meanwhile, continued her quiet rebellion. She would slip from her quarters, sometimes to the observation deck, sometimes to the library of the ship, sometimes just to wander the halls. And every time Kai was there, waiting, watching, at first he scolded her. Princess, you cannot keep doing this. It is dangerous. But each time he said it, she would look at him with those golden eyes shining with curiosity and trust, and he would relent. You always find me, she said one day, leaning against the railing of the observation deck. Her hair glowed under the light of distant stars. Do you enjoy it, human? Kai shook his head, though a small smile appeared on his lips. I don't enjoy it. He paused. Words failed him. How could he explain that finding her had become the most important part of his day, that every moment without her felt empty, that every time she smiled at him his heart felt like it might burst? Lyra tilted her head as if sensing his struggle. You care more than you say, Kai, I can see it. Kai swallowed hard. He had trained for countless missions, faced countless dangers, but he had never faced this. Caring for her, feeling this connection, this strange pull toward her. It was more frightening than any battle. And yet he could not help it. He wanted to protect her, to be near her, to see her smile every day. One quiet evening, as the stars sparkled like scattered gems across the sky, Lyra appeared at his door. "Can we go out on the observation deck?" she asked softly. Kai nodded. Of course. The deck was empty, the stars reflecting on the smooth glass walls. Lyra walked close to him, her hand brushing against his. He could feel her warmth, her trust, and it made his chest ache. "You know, human," she said quietly, "I feel safer when you are near me. Not because you are strong, but because you care." Kai's heart tightened. "Lyra, you must understand, my mission is to protect you. But I won't lie. I care more than my mission. I care about you." Her eyes softened, and she reached up to touch his cheek gently. "I care about you too, Kai. I like being near you. I want to be near you." For a long moment, they simply stood there silent, letting the stars above witness the unspoken bond forming between them. Kai realized that this was no longer just a mission. It was a connection that went beyond duty, beyond species, beyond rules. It was trust, it was friendship, and maybe, he dared to think, something deeper. But their quiet moment did not last. The ship trembled slightly, a warning flash across the monitors. Enemy scouts were detected nearby. Kai immediately stepped in front of Lyra, scanning the surroundings. "Princess, stay behind me. We may be in danger." Lyra placed her hand on his arm. "Kai, I am not afraid. I trust you. We face it together." He nodded, a mix of relief and pride swelling in his chest. She was not fragile. She was brave, clever, and full of life. And she had chosen to trust him completely. As they prepared for the possibility of danger, Kai understood something important. Protecting her was no longer just about duty. It was about courage, about love, about standing by someone who believed in you even when the stars themselves seemed uncertain. And in that moment, Kai realized he would follow her anywhere, through any danger, through any darkness, just to see her smile, just to keep her safe, just to be near her, because Lyra had become more than a mission. She had become his reason. Kai was beginning to feel a strange sense of peace. The bond between him and Princess Lyra had grown stronger with each passing day. They laughed together, shared quiet moments on the observation deck, and even learned small human customs that made Lyra giggle endlessly. But peace in the galaxy was always temporary, and Kai knew that danger could appear at any moment. It came without warning. The alarms blared, red lights flashing across the ship's corridors. Kai's heart pounded as he grabbed his weapon and sprinted toward Lyra's location. "Princess Lyra!" "Stay where you are!" he shouted, but he knew it was too late. She was already at the outer deck, leaning over the railing and staring at a nearby nebula, its colors swirling like liquid fire. The beauty of the scene did not faze Kai, not now. His eyes were fixed on the approaching enemy scouts, small but deadly ships that moved with terrifying speed. "Princess, step back," he yelled, reaching for her. Lyra turned, her golden eyes wide but fearless. "Kai, I wanted to see this." "Don't you want to see it too?" "I do, but not like this," Kai said, grabbing her hand and pulling her away from the edge. His mind raced. He could fight them off, but there were too many. His body tensed, every muscle ready to protect her. The enemy scouts fired. The ship shook violently. Sparks flew from the walls and alarms screamed in the corridors. Kai shielded Lyra with his body, holding her close as he moved toward cover. He could feel her small hands gripping his arms. Her trust and fear mixed into a single fragile heartbeat. "Kai," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I've got you," he said firmly, though his own chest was tight with fear. "I will not let anything happen to you." They dodged through the corridors, the sounds of lasers and alarms echoing around them. Kai led Lyra to a secure room, barricading the door as best he could. He could hear the enemy outside, probing, searching, testing, but inside there was only Lyra, and the warmth of her presence gave him strength he did not know he had. Lyra looked at him, her eyes shining with something more than fear. "Kai, why do you risk yourself for me?" He met her gaze, and for the first time he let himself speak without restraint. "Because no one else will. Because I care about you, more than my mission, more than anything." Her small hand touched his cheek and a tear glimmered in her golden eye. "And I care about you too. That's why I follow you, even into danger." Kai's heart ached at her words. He had trained for war, for strategy, for countless battles. But no preparation had taught him how to protect someone he loved with every fiber of his being. He realized then that his humanity, His courage, his stubbornness, his heart was what made him different, what gave him the strength to face impossible odds. The enemy finally retreated, their ships vanishing into the void. The alarms stopped and silence returned to the ship. Kai sank to the floor with exhaustion, holding Lyra close. She rested her head against his shoulder, trembling slightly but alive. "You're my hero, Kai," she whispered softly, her voice full of awe and gratitude. He could only nod, too overwhelmed to speak. The adrenaline was fading, leaving behind a deep emotional bond he could not ignore. He realized that protecting her was no longer just duty. It was a promise, a choice, and something that went beyond life itself. As the ship stabilized and the stars outside shone quietly, Kai held Lyra a little tighter. He knew that more dangers would come. He knew that his mission was far from over. But for now, in this quiet moment after chaos, he understood something important. Love, trust, and courage were stronger than any weapon, and his humanity, his heart, was the greatest strength he had. And in that moment, Kai made a silent vow. No matter what the galaxy threw at them, he would protect her. Always. That night, the ship was quiet. The alarms had stopped, and the stars outside glimmered softly, painting the walls with pale light. Kai sat in the small observation room, his armor removed, body aching from the day's chaos. But his mind was restless, spinning with thoughts of Princess Lyra. He couldn't stop thinking about her, the way she trusted him, the way she laughed, the way her golden eyes seemed to see straight into his soul. A soft knock at the door made him tense. "Princess?" he called, trying to sound calm. "It's me," came Lyra's quiet voice. Kai opened the door and she slipped inside, moving closer, her small hand brushing against his. "I couldn't sleep," she admitted softly. "I keep thinking about today, about you." Kai's chest tightened. He had felt it too all day. The bond between them, stronger than ever, deeper than anything he had known. He stepped closer to her, his eyes searching hers. "Lyra, I have to tell you something. Something I shouldn't, maybe, but I can't hold it back." Her eyes widened slightly. "What is it?" He took a deep breath. "I'm supposed to protect you. That's my mission, but I care about you. Not just as a duty, not just because I have to. I care about you, more than I can say." Lyra's lips parted, a faint smile forming as tears glimmered in her eyes. "Kai, I care about you too. I've wanted to be near you, not because you're strong, not because you can protect me, but because you make me feel safe and happy and understood." Kai felt a rush of emotion so strong it made him dizzy. He wanted to speak, to explain how much her trust meant to him, but words failed. Instead, he reached out, gently brushing her hair back from her face. Her skin was warm, soft, and real. "I never thought I could feel this way about anyone," he whispered. "But with you, it's different. I'd face any danger, any enemy, any impossible mission, just to be near you, just to see you smile, just to make sure you're safe." Lyra's hand found his, gripping tightly. "And I would face anything too. Even the stars, even the galaxy, even danger. If you're with me." Kai's heart swelled. Here was someone from another world. Someone he had only just met, trusting him completely. Relying on him not just for safety, but for strength, for courage, for love. He felt human, but in a way stronger than ever. His courage, his heart, his stubbornness, all of it mattered now, because Lyra had chosen to rely on him. For a long moment, they simply stood there, holding hands, looking into each other's eyes. The stars outside shimmered, silent witnesses to the bond that had grown between a human and an alien princess. In that moment, Kai understood something he had never realized before. Being human was not weakness. It was bravery, compassion, and the ability to feel deeply, and that was what made him strong enough to face anything for her. Finally, Lyra leaned her head against his shoulder. "Promise me," she whispered, "that you'll stay with me. Always." Kai held her closer, feeling the warmth of her body, the steady beat of her trust. "I promise, Lyra, always." And for the first time since this mission began, Kai felt truly at peace. Not because the galaxy was safe, not because the enemy had retreated, but because Lyra had chosen him, and he had chosen her. In the quiet of the observation room, with the stars watching silently, human and princess stood together. Their hearts were aligned, their trust unbreakable, and their bond deeper than the vast galaxy outside. No mission, no danger, no force in the universe could change that now. Kai realized that this was more than duty. This was love. This was courage. This was humanity at its best, protecting, caring, risking everything for someone you believed in. And as Lyra drifted to sleep against him, Kai silently vowed that he would never let her go, that he would follow her anywhere, face anything, and fight for her with every ounce of his being, for she was not just a princess. She was the reason his heart beat, the reason he believed in himself, and the reason he would never give up. Kai woke before the sun, or what passed for a sun on this alien ship. The quiet hum of the engines filled the air, but it felt heavier than usual. Something was wrong. His instincts, honed over countless human missions, told him danger was near. He checked the monitors again. Enemy scouts, more numerous, more aggressive than before, had appeared on the outskirts of their path. Before he could alert the crew, Lyra appeared at his door. Her golden eyes were wide, her usual playful smile replaced with determination. "Kai, I want to come with you," she said softly. Kai's chest tightened. "Lyra, it's too dangerous. You have to stay in your quarters." She shook her head. "No, we face it together. You've faced every danger for me, and I won't hide while you fight alone. I trust you, Kai. I want to be with you." Kai's heart ached. She was fearless, yet so human in her trust and vulnerability. He knew that letting her fight alongside him could get her hurt or worse, but he also knew he could not leave her behind. "Then we do this together," he said, voice steady despite the fear inside him. The ship shook as the enemy scouts closed in. Lasers pierced the darkness outside and alarms blared across the corridors. Kai led Lyra to the command center, keeping her close behind him. "Stay low, stay close, and trust me," he instructed. Lyra nodded, gripping his arm. "I do, I trust you completely." The battle was chaos. Scouts swarmed the ship, trying to disable the engines and cut off escape routes. Kai moved with precision, his human training and instincts allowing him to anticipate attacks, guide the ship, and protect Lyra from every danger. She moved beside him, alert, brave, and focused, her fear hidden behind her determination. "Kai," she whispered at one point, glancing at him. "I'm scared." He turned, meeting her gaze. "I know, and that's why I need you to trust me. We will get through this together." They moved side by side, a human and an alien princess, facing impossible odds with courage and unspoken understanding. Every shot fired, every maneuver executed strengthened their bond. They were no longer just protector and ward. They were partners, equals, and friends who would risk everything for each other. Hours felt like minutes as they fought, until the last scout ship was finally destroyed or driven away. The silence that followed was heavy, but it was alive with relief. Kai slumped against a console, exhausted, his body trembling. Lyra fell into his arms without a word, letting the adrenaline fade. "You were incredible," she whispered, her head resting against his chest. I don't know what I would have done without you." Kai's chest tightened. "You were incredible too, Lyra. You faced everything without hesitation. You were brave, more than I could have imagined." For the first time, they allowed themselves to simply be human and Aileri, two beings from different worlds, holding each other after surviving the impossible. Kai realized that bravery was not just in weapons or tactics. It was in trust, in care, in standing beside someone when everything tried to tear you apart. And he had learned that love could be the strongest force of all. Lyra lifted her head and looked into his eyes. "Kai, promise me something." "Anything," he said without hesitation. "Promise me that no matter what happens, we face it together. Always." Kai nodded, gripping her hand tightly. "I promise, Lyra, always." In that moment, surrounded by the quiet aftermath of chaos, human and princess understood that nothing, no enemy, no distance, no impossible challenge, could break the bond they had forged. Their trust, their courage, their hearts had been tested and had survived. Kai held Lyra a little closer, feeling her warmth, her life, her trust, and knew that he would never let her go. Not now, not ever. The galaxy could throw anything at them, but as long as they had each other, they could face it all. And as the stars outside shimmered quietly, Kai felt a deep, unshakable certainty. Love, trust, and courage were stronger than any weapon in the universe, and together, they were unstoppable. The battle was over. The enemy ships had retreated, and the galaxy seemed quieter than it had ever been. On the deck of the ship, The stars stretched endlessly, glittering like scattered diamonds against the black canvas of space. Kai and Princess Lyra stood side by side, leaning against the railing, their hands intertwined. For the first time in days, there was no alarm, no tension, no threat, just the vast, peaceful universe and the quiet rhythm of their own hearts. Kai glanced at Lyra. Her golden hair caught the starlight, and her eyes, so full of courage, mischief, and warmth, met his. He felt a deep, steady calm, the kind that only comes after surviving a storm together. He had faced impossible odds, fought through danger and risked everything, but none of it compared to the feeling of standing here with her, alive together and free. "You know," Lyra said softly, leaning her head on his shoulder, "I never believed I could feel this happy. Not even in the stories my tutors told me." Kai smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You deserve this peace," he said gently. "And you deserved someone who would always be there for you. I just happened to be the human lucky enough to be near you." Lyra laughed quietly, the sound full of relief and joy. "Lucky? No, Kai, you're more than lucky. You're extraordinary. You risked everything for me, and you never gave up. That's not luck, that's human courage." Kai's heart swelled. He had always known humans could be brave. But standing here with Lyra, feeling her trust and admiration, he realized something even greater. Humanity's true strength was in the heart, in the choices made despite fear, in the love and courage to protect someone else no matter the cost. "I never expected any of this," Kai admitted, his voice quiet. "I was just doing my duty, but now I know it's more than duty. It's you, Lyra. You're worth every risk, every moment of fear. You're everything." Lyra lifted her head, her golden eyes meeting his. "And you're mine, Kai, not because of duty, not because you're human, but because you chose me, and I chose you, always." For a moment the galaxy felt still, as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. Kai reached out and held her close, feeling her heartbeat against his chest, steady and strong. The bond they had forged through fear, trust, and danger was unbreakable now. They had faced the impossible together, and they had survived, not just as protector and princess, but as equals, as companions, as hearts entwined across worlds. Kai took a deep breath. "Lyra, I promise you, I will stay with you. I will protect you, love you, and follow you anywhere. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Always." Lyra smiled, tears glimmering in her eyes. "And I promise you, Kai, no matter where the galaxy takes us, no matter what challenges come, we face them together. Always." The stars outside seemed to shine brighter, the quiet hum of the ship almost singing in celebration. Kai and Lyra stood together, hands clasped, hearts beating in unison. For the first time, the future felt endless, full of hope, adventure, and love. Kai realized then that this mission, this galaxy, this life, had given him something far greater than he had ever imagined. Not just a duty to protect, but a reason to live, to fight, and to believe in something bigger than himself. Humanity, he thought, was not just strength or courage. It was the ability to care, to love, and to risk everything for another soul. Lyra looked up at him, her eyes bright with determination and joy. "Wherever we go next, Kai, we go together." Kai nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "Together," he agreed. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, human and princess, protector and companion, stood side by side, ready to face the galaxy as one. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, but they no longer feared it. They had each other, and that was enough. For in a galaxy full of stars, wars, and endless darkness, Kai and Lyra had found the brightest light of all, the light of trust, courage, and love. And it would guide them always.